Hello and welcome to the Strong, Healthy, Happy podcast. This is not a usual type of podcast episode. This is all about the 5 day free summer challenge and the 5 habits that form part of that challenge. And to support my ladies on the 5 day free summer challenge, today I'm going to talk about two of those habits. The first one is protein, and then I'm going to talk about eating veg, fruit, and salad. So, as it appears on your challenge card, your habit card, you have a goal. Your habit goal is to include protein in every meal, and your fruit and veg and salad is to have 5 servings a day. Now, that is a minimum. I'm going to come on and explain each one. And I'm going to start with protein. So, you've probably heard about the importance of protein, and most of the products that you see in the supermarket now, a lot of them are labeled high protein. And the awareness around the importance of protein is raising, but perhaps you're not sure why you need to eat more protein, what it does for you, and maybe perhaps you're struggling to increase your protein. So, protein is, like I say, the most important of all your macronutrients. Your macronutrients are carbs, fats, and protein. And of all those three macronutrients, protein is often the most undereaten, but it is also the most important. Your consuming protein builds and repairs your muscle tissue, and your muscle supports your long-term health and helps prevent long-term illnesses and diseases like cancers, obesity, um, heart and metabolic health. So it is a really good reason to eat a diet high in protein. Now, the other reason to eat a diet high in protein is because protein helps you by building and repairing your muscle tissue. It helps you look more toned alongside doing resistance training. And if you're not already doing resistance training, you may know it as strength training, lifting weights. Doing that type of exercise is how you stimulate your muscles to, at the very minimum, maintain the muscle you have, but ideally increase your muscle tissue, because that is how you look more toned. Along with reducing body fat, that is how you look more toned. Now, having looked at all the sign up forms that you have all completed as part of the free 5 day summer challenge, 99% of you are all after a weight loss goal. And so eating protein is a really good reason, because as well as all the health benefits and the aesthetic benefits of eating protein, when it comes to weight loss, fat loss, that's what we're trying to do, is lose body fat. On a really basic level, you have to eat a little less calories than your body actually requires, because that's putting you into a calorie deficit, and that's how you lose fat. Now, that's in its simplistic terms. I do want to caveat that and say losing weight is not easy. The process, the science might be simple, but it's really not easy. If it was easy, we wouldn't all be here. And I've been through what you've been through, and it's not an easy process. We're real people with real lives, pressures, commitments, jobs, except families, etc. Now, the benefit of eating protein is that it keeps you fuller for longer. So when you are in a calorie deficit, when you are reducing the amount of food you're eating, you will be able to better manage your hunger by eating protein regularly throughout the day, i.e., in your breakfast, in your lunch, and at your dinner, and perhaps a fourth serving in a snack. Now, when I coach my clients and they sign up for the first time, there's this big panic. Oh my God, I've got to look for new recipes. I've got to change everything I'm doing to get more protein. Now, what I want to try and do is, I believe in making things as easy and as simple as possible. I don't want you to get into a panic, but what I do want you to think about is what foods you're currently enjoying, what meals you currently make, and how you can include protein in those meals if they currently don't have any protein in. And if they do have protein, to maybe just bump up that protein a little bit more, because often the amount of protein that you're eating is probably not enough. Now, as part of the 5 day challenge, I'm not going to bog you down with amounts of protein that you need to eat. For this 5-day challenge, I just want you to make sure, as one of your habits, that you are including protein in each of your meals. So if you're having, for example, a sandwich at lunch, what is the filling in your sandwich? Think about including a lean protein source, i.e., the lean cuts of meat like chicken breast, chicken slices, ham slices, turkey slices, anything like that that is lean. If it makes sense, so protein comes from animal-based products and plant-based products, you will have had a protein information sheet in the chat group, and you will see that I've listed out the different protein sources. So I'm not going to go through them on this recording because you can see the protein suggestions, but they are generally animal-based products: meat, fish, dairy, um, and then plant-based tofu, corn, and other plant-based alternatives. Remember that some foods that you see in the supermarkets will be emblazoned with high protein, high protein. But if it is for example, like a box of Weetabix and it says high protein, or a bag of bagels and it says high protein, yes, there is protein in it, but it's primarily a carbohydrate source. So think about having where your primary protein is coming from. Now, one of the meals that most of my clients struggle with from experience is breakfast. If you're used to a cereal-based breakfast, the amount of milk you have in your cereal is probably not enough to get the minimum requirement of protein. So think about bumping up your protein with some yogurt. Now, when it comes to protein and keeping it lean, and also if your goal is weight loss to reduce your calories, it makes sense to make those smarter swaps like reduced fats, 0% Greek yogurt, reduced fat cheeses, lighter versions, etc. It just makes sense. It's not always essential, but obviously I'm not coaching you, and these are just generic guidelines. Now, your other habit-based, and one other thing on protein is the other really great reason on consuming protein when your goal is weight loss is that to break down and digest protein, your body has to work a lot harder. So therefore, you are burning more calories expending protein compared to those other macronutrients. So as well as keeping you fuller for longer, you're burning more calories digesting it. So it makes sense to include it. So just include it in every meal. Don't overthink it. Just think about what meals you currently enjoy and ask yourself, what is my protein source in this meal? And make sure that you've got something added in. Now, your other habit-based target is to eat 5 servings of fruit, veg, or salad in a day. Don't get bogged down. What does a serving mean? It doesn't matter. Just have 5 vegetables, salad, or fruit in your daily diet. Now, what I would recommend, and a really way to hit that target, is having either one of those, veg, salad, or fruit, in each of your meals, and have one and as a snack. And therefore, you're going to hit that target. So at breakfast, if you're having a cereal-based breakfast, you may want to add fruit to it. If you're having more an egg and perhaps a chicken sausage type breakfast, then maybe fruit doesn't go with that. So think about what you want to put with that: tomatoes, asparagus, spinach, whatever your personal preference is. But adding it to every meal. Now, the other benefit of adding veg, salad, or fruit to every meal is that it bumps up the volume, and therefore you've got more food, but for not as many calories. And what you can do when you bump up your veg and your salad is you can reduce the carb and fat portion on your plate. So, if you're having whatever you're serving, say of rice might look like, or pasta might look like, you could reduce that slightly and fill the space on your plate with additional veg or salad. And this is how you can put yourself into eating a little bit less without noticing, because you've still got a full plate because you've added a shit ton of veg or salad. And if you do snack on fruit, it's a really good idea to pair it with protein. So you could have yogurt and yogurt and fruit. Supermarkets also have like protein puddings, etc. Anyway, I'm mixing the two habits up, but hopefully that helps you with some information to get consistent with those 2 habits over these 5 days and beyond. Have a great day, and I'll catch up with you on the next little chat about the habits.